What up, this is your boy Roy Jones Jr. and you're watching Lifestyle.
This is Faisal Khan for Lights Out, proudly sponsored by Spartans Law. Delighted to be joined by the co-founder of the Fight Disciples, Nick Peet. Nick, first of all, thank you for taking your time out to join us.
Hey, thank you for asking me.
Nick, first of all, I have to say a tremendous, phenomenal YouTube channel yourself and Adam Catterall have got. The Fight Disciples, I watch it religiously. I watch your podcast. I watch your build up to all the big boxing fights and the big MMA fights. Only us YouTubers know how hard it is running a YouTube channel, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's we've coming up to 6 years now. So obviously, our main focus for so long was just podcasting and taking over the podcasting world, and then we quickly established ourselves as the biggest fight sports podcast in the UK. And we were kind of late to the party on YouTube a little bit. We've only really started focusing on YouTube in the last 18 months or so. But yeah, I've been in fight sports for 22 years. I started as a newspaper journalist before that industry died on its arse, and yes, it is dead on its arse. Nobody buys newspapers anymore. So I'm glad I got out of that when I did. Spent a few years in magazines, and then podcasting, and now broadcasting has kind of become my thing. And you know what? I probably enjoy this more than any of the other stuff.
Then along comes social media, YouTube, podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever you guys really like to indulge in. But yeah, listen guys, if you can, check out the Fight Disciples, a tremendous, brilliant YouTube channel. Share the links below in the description as well, because I watch it religiously. We're here to talk about, obviously, one of the reasons why we're here is for the big fight this weekend between Eubank versus Williams. But I sort of want to go a bit away from the boxing. I want to talk to you about one of the other combat sports you cover, which is the MMA, the UFC. Yep. Had a great start to the year with the Francis Ngannou fight. We've got so much to look forward to, but Conor McGregor. Listen,
nice segue.
He's one of the biggest faces in the UFC. Well, he is the biggest face in the UFC.
Yeah.
His last outing was, of course, against Dustin Poirier. Never ended too well for him. Dustin Poirier went on to challenge for the world title, lost against Charles Oliveira. What do you see happening in that division next? And do you think Conor McGregor's still got a part to play in it? Do you think that's the last we're going to see of him?
Yeah, listen, I think Conor's a completely unique athlete. He's changed the game in the sport of mixed martial arts, absolutely. I remember Conor, when he was on Cage Warriors and then covered his first fights into the UFC as well, and seeing the transition from man to incredibly rich boy has been a pleasure. And there's one point in time there around the Eddie Alvarez, when he unified the two weight divisions, becoming the first to do that, when he smashed the ceiling on what a UFC fighter can earn. You're truly in the time of a unique individual, and I always look back to my early days covering boxing when I covered Naz home and away, and Nazim's career, and you kind of think, wow, I wonder if I'll ever experience an athlete that captures the imagination and draws in the fans in quite the same way that Naz did. And Conor actually exceeded that, bizarrely enough. He actually went one better. Many big thanks to the Irish fans all over the world initially, but then we all caught on to the fact that he was very much a special individual, a special showman, an incredibly talented fighter, of course, as well. And that moment in time, I truly believe that version of Conor McGregor was one of the greatest of all time across all fight sports. I think 2022 is a very different time for Conor McGregor. I think Conor spends an awful lot of time now in silk pyjamas on private yachts and driving Lamborghinis and being served, 6-star dinners with silver service and everything else. The days of rolling with the lads on a grubby mat in Dublin and everything that made him the monster that he was is just not his lifestyle anymore, and I'm certainly not knocking that. What's the point of all that work if you're not going to enjoy it and live the billion-dollar lifestyle that he does? He started a fucking whiskey brand, and now even Dana White's got his own whiskey brand just because he realised Conor made it so much of a success. He'll do the same. So he isn't just a trailblazer for MMA, mixed martial artists. He's a trailblazer for everybody in fight sports. So you've got to admire what he's done and what he's done for the sport. I think right now it's too easy to say he should retire before he tarnishes his legacy. I don't think his future fighting career is at lightweight. I don't even think it's at championship class. I think Charles Oliveira, I think Dustin Poirier, I think Justin Gaethje, I think the next crop come behind him even more ferocious. Your Islam Makhachevs and your Daniil Bariushas and your Fizievs of this world and stuff like that. these are guys who are as hungry as Conor was a decade ago. You know, they're climbing the mountain. They want to be where he is. So I don't like him in championship class. I want to see him kind of turn back the clock. So I want to see him find his eye the tiger once more. I want to see him healthy and competing. But for me, it's competing against Nick Diaz, Nate Diaz, Jorge Masvidal. You know, I want to see him in this kind of group of BMF icon-style fighters that, you know, are headlining cards. More often than not, making more money than the champions. You know, Kamaru Usman's going to fight Leon Edwards next. That will probably make less money than Jorge Masvidal taking on Colby Covington, because that's kind of just the sport that we're in. It's an entertainment business, and Conor, of course, still generates more money than anybody else. Do I want to see him fight Charles Oliveira? Do I want to see him fight Dustin anytime soon? No. But sign me the fuck up for Nate Diaz or Nick Diaz, man. Sign me up.
As I mentioned, that division, obviously it's an action-packed division. You just mentioned some of the biggest names in that division right now. I believe next for the current world champion Charles Oliveira is Justin Gaethje. Mm-hmm. 2 phenomenal wins for Oliveira in his previous fights against Dustin Poirier and of course Michael Chandler.
Yeah.
Can you see anybody beating Justin Gaethje right now? Sorry, Charles Oliveira right now.
Yeah. Islam Makhachev. I think Islam Makhachev is the real deal. I think when he gets his opportunity, it will probably come this year. And that's a big statement to say, because I think Charles Oliveira was the fight of the year 2021. I know he only had 2 victories against Kamaru Usman's 3 victories, but Kamaru Usman, man, he's so fucking good. You know, he's outstanding, and he was a massive favourite in all 3 of those fights, whereas Oliveira went into the Chandler fight as a 50-50, went into the Poirier fight as the underdog, on the back of a fight at the very end of December, you know, when he basically ended Tony Ferguson. You know, I think Charles Oliveira's red hot right now. There's no denying he's the best lightweight on the planet, but I believe on the planet there is a better lightweight that when he gets his opportunity, he will take it. And again, I'm a big fan of Beneil Dariush. I've followed his career from day one when he first walked into Rafael Cordero's King's MMA in California. I spoke to Rafael and he was like, this is the guy, I've got this amazing jiu-jitsu kid. When I develop him, he's going to be ready, he's going to move on. And he's absolutely been true to his word. You know, Beneil is right there, and obviously whoever wins that fight will fight the winner of Gaethje versus Oliveira. But I just think Islam now has got that assurance in himself that he's no longer in Khabib's shadow. He's his own man, and when that opportunity comes, I think he will be. He's like Khabib. He's all action like Khabib, except he's probably got better hands than Khabib as well. So yeah, I think the end of the year I'm going to go with Islam Makhachev. But Charles Oliveira, man, what a reign he's had.
Jake Paul loves a boxing match with a UFC fighter, doesn't he? He's calling out Kamaru Usman, Jorge Masvidal. He's called out the Diaz brothers. He's beaten Tyron Woodley twice. Are you like sort of embracing the journey that he's on right now? Or are you one of those that thinks someone needs to put this guy away from boxing and permanently? Like, what's your thoughts on Jake Paul?
I'm kind of both. Listen, I absolutely got nothing but respect and admiration for Jake Paul and what he's done, you know, and I think it's silly when boxing fans get upset and go, oh my God, why is he making all this money or not making all this money in pay-per-view? Why is he doing pay-per-view fights when, you know, Eubank Williams is not even a pay-per-view and all this kind of stuff, and that's real fights. And yeah, but what you don't understand is boxing fans aren't buying Jake Paul versus Tyron Woodley. I'm not buying it. I don't know any boxing fans that are buying Jake Paul fights.
Adam, please, it would be an honour.
But
Adam, please grab a chair. Come in if you don't mind, do you, Nick?
Fucking hell.
Working with me.
Jesus Christ.
Well, this is Adam Catterall.
That's right,
the other co-founder of the Fight Disciples. Adam, pleasure to meet you. Finally, pleasure.
I was trying to make a point there. He was fucking rudely interrupted.
What was your point?
That was one of those moments that went viral.
Was it?
Anyway, as I was saying before I was rudely interrupted, I've got nothing but respect because it's Jake's audience. He built that audience and they're the ones who buy the pay-per-views, not boxing fans. So stop getting your knickers in a twist. It's different, you know what I mean? So I'm not that bothered about it. your second question, do I want to see him wiped out? Mate, I would love someone to knock Jake Paul out. It would be cool, but it ain't ever going to happen because he's never going to fight anybody that's actually going to be competitive. Now, I was all in for the Tommy Fury fight, man. I was like, yeah, man, 2 novice light heavyweights with novice records going at it. Absolutely, why not? And for me, that was like I'd probably go 55-45 in favour of Fury, but I wouldn't be against the fact that Jake Paul's got big fight experience in terms of he's used to doing pay-per-view, he's used to being the main attraction. So I was all in for that fight, and that would have probably been the first Jake Paul fight that I'd have gone, you know what, I'm interested in watching that. But yeah, the worst thing about it is, do you know what? I don't bother about that because it's not my world, it's his world. He's built that audience. Crack on, lad. If your YouTubers want to pay you to watch you do faux boxing, mate, that's your business. Good on you. I'm more upset when people like Marius Briedis lower themselves to where he's lowered himself to, getting tattoos on his body, releasing rap records, although the rap record was pretty good. Balls. It was pretty good, wasn't it? But yeah, I'm more upset that boxing has taken such an offence. Man, let him just do his shit and we'll just do our shit, it's fine.
Adam, I know you've got something to say on that, so fire away, mate. It's not
listen, mate, I agree with everything that he's just said. One thing that I'll say about Jake Paul, right, is look what he's doing for Amanda Serrano.
Yeah, true.
And that's the positive that you take out of it. In fact, there's 2 positives, right? Because my little lad is 8 and he kickboxes, right? So he's into his kickboxing and what have you. And the other day, obviously with the press conference thing was going on and Eddie's there and what have you, he sees me being involved in this mad little game, talking about boxing and what have you, and something flashed up on my social media and he went, "Who's that?" Pointing at Jake Paul, and I went, "That's a guy called Jake Paul." He goes, yeah, Jake Paul, I've seen him on YouTube. And I went, "Right, okay." He goes, "Is he a boxer?"
Nope. I hope he said no.
He went, yeah, he does boxing. I've seen him do boxing. So, my point with this is, right, he went on to talk about some other stuff, my little lad. If Jake Paul inspires an 8-year-old kid to take up boxing, and that 8-year-old kid goes on to be an Olympic champion, sweet as a nut, man. If that's your into boxing, I watched Jake Paul knock out Tyrone Woodley on YouTube or whatever, and that got me into boxing, and I ended up becoming good at it, and went on to become an Olympic champion or a world champion or whatever.
And that will happen. I guarantee there will be a kid out there in the way about
So there's a positive of him being involved in this game because he's bringing in an audience that might not necessarily even look at this fantastic sport that we all absolutely love. And also, yeah, he makes a lot of noise and he talks a lot of crap every now and again, but he is backing that bullshit up a little bit by obviously signing Amanda Serrano. He's putting a lot of love and attention into the Amanda Serrano brand, and now look what she's doing, creating history against Katie Taylor. Madison Square Garden's been around for 140 years. It's never had 2 women headlining. They're headlining now, and Jake Paul's the fucking promoter behind it. Alright? So, there you go, man.
Right, I've picked Nick's brains a bit about the current UFC scene. After, obviously, as Sonny right, I've dragged you in here, so I'm going to have to ask you a couple of questions. Khabib Nurmagomedov, is he done with the UFC? Do you think he'll return?
No, he's never fight again, mate. Never fight again. He's on with Eagle FC now, isn't he? You know what I mean? Making fights and creating his own legacy. Habib, if you've ever had the pleasure, yeah, that's right, to be in Habib's company, there's not an ounce of bullshit about that man at all. If he tells you this is the way it is, this is the way it is. And for him to say, listen, I'm going to honour what my mum wants, I'm going to honour my dad's legacy. I don't care that it's 29-0 and everybody says, come back for 30, come back for 30. Not interested. He's not interested whatsoever. He's achieved whatever he wanted to achieve. He got to become the pound for pound number 1 at that particular time.
Surely that appeal for a second fight with McGregor, the amount of money that fight can generate.
I'll tell you now, Habib is earning more money now outside of the UFC than he ever was in the UFC.
Really?
That's a fact. Yes.
I don't think he cares, mate, about what anybody else thinks.
Incredibly rich man.
I know how passionate you two guys are about the sport of MMA. Would you guys not want to see a second fight between Khabib and Conor McGregor, or even just see Khabib fight again itself?
Yeah, from a fan perspective, I'd love to see Habib fight again. I'm not in no rush to see him fight Conor again because Conor's shouldn't be on that radar at the moment. I would love to see Habib fight again. But the fact is, he ain't going to fight again. He's done. He ain't coming back. Eagle FC's only just took off, and that's his new baby, and Islam's his buddy, and he's stepped aside so Islam can become champ now. So yeah, it's not worth getting hung up over it, because it's never going to happen. Never going to happen.
One final question: Nick Peet versus Adam Catterall in the UFC fight. Who wins?
What weight?
Whatever weight you want. Catch weight.
Catch weight would be fucking about, what are you, about 180, something like that? 175?
Could you make it?
No fucking chance.
We could go to Eagle though. They've got new weight categories, couldn't they?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'd have to cut an arm off or two.
Who wins? Let's say it was to happen one day.
He's got 1 minute. He's got 1 minute to survive. But that'd be the worst 1 minute of his life.
I'll give you 5 minutes. You carry your power for 5 minutes.
Nick, you look like you're the one that possesses the more power.
No doubt.
No disrespect. Adam looks like the one who can go longer than 3 or 4 rounds.
He knows me well though. He knows all it takes is one kick to the knee and I'm fucked because I've got bad knees.
That's it.
Yeah.
Well, listen, just to show you how dedicated these guys are, look, they've turned up for the press conference today. They're still doing their thing.
We're not here just tossing it off,
but
mate.
still, though, it doesn't. No. I'm telling you, the viewers
Tell
out
the people,
there,
man. Tell the people.
just how dedicated you are, because I'm a massive fan of the Fight Disciples. I watch it religiously, so
Appreciate it.
and I'm glad to finally get the opportunity to speak to you guys. So, Nick, Adam, thank you very much once again for your time. I'll definitely put your YouTube channel link in the description below, guys. Make
Thanks,
sure
mate.
you hit the subscribe button. And Nick, Adam, thank you very much for talking like that, guys.
Cheers, man.
Cheers, boss.